Hi, everybody. I'm Ken Kirschenbaum. Thanks for joining us today. Today is a continuation of our 2025 webinar series. Today's presentation, Actuate. We're going to hear from Brian Carras, and he is the president of the company. And Actuate, as you might know, is a camera, he'll describe it, interaction, video interactive monitoring program, a service rather. And one of the things I can assure you of is that this is the future of the security industry in terms of monitoring, in my opinion. As recently as an hour ago, I was on the phone with a client who's taking over a guard service from a building, and I think that's the way you're going to go. Not that, plus we're going to have video verification. I'm sure he's going to cover all of this. Write in your questions. I'll ask him at the end. And Brian, it's all yours.
Awesome, cool. Thanks, Ken. Appreciate the intro. Yeah, so I'm here. I'm joined with Ellie Katz from our technical team. So got a few slides, and we'll go through a live demo. So as Ken mentioned here, I'm hoping this is, make sure this is sharing everything. Okay, so Actuate is basically AI for remote monitoring, video analytics. You know, this goes by a lot of different terms, but when you hear cloud AI, when you hear these, when you hear these terms, I think what everybody first thinks about is this here. We've got some, video samples running on. These are just some cameras at my house, some test cameras. But this is what you think of when you think about AI these days: is that we're watching video, picking up person, vehicle, intruder type objects in the video, and that certainly is, what the product is about. But really what we're selling is, I think this next slide here, I will let these videos play. I'm kind of focusing on this when we're talking to our customers in our market. So everyone's familiar with videos, everyone's getting those video clips, and in fact, you're probably getting overwhelmed by them. And what this really is about is that false positive reduction, or that event spam filtering reduction, to let your operators focus on only the most relevant events. So we're cutting down for our customers false alarms by up to 95%. It's usually somewhere between 50 and 95%, depending on how well they manage to tune the cameras and get things working before they brought Actuate on board. And then this is leading to operational efficiencies, cost reductions. I had a call the other day with a customer prospect in South Africa, and their business has grown well. Their challenges, they're starting to outgrow their monitoring center. They're starting to outgrow their facility. They can't really fit any more people in there, but they want to grow their business. And by bringing Actuate on board, we can help reduce all those false alarms, reduce operator workload, which frees them up for them to expand their business and cover more accounts. And that's essentially the message, and that's essentially what every single one of our customers that's been coming on board with the platform for the last 6 years has been seeing on a day-to-day basis, is this false alarm reduction. So we're focused on this perimeter protection, live monitoring, remote guarding business. Everybody calls it something a little different, but you'll find that all of our products, everything we do is built around enabling and enhancing services in this market.
Brian?
So object classes that we focus on. Yeah.
Just a quick one. We can't see your
question. You can't. Okay.
There you go. Now
okay. Let me go back. Go to webinars. Not cooperating with my system. So I want to go back and just show this graph. Thanks for pointing that out, Ellie. I'll do the slides this. So this is a sample of our false positive reduction. This is a graph from, again, one of our actual customers, showing in orange the motion counts, or the events that were sent into our system, and in blue what our system sent onto their monitoring center for actual engagement. And as you can see, it's a very small subset of the total events received. So we're able to reduce those false alarms, reduce those inactionable events that are just wasting operator time and frustrating everyone. So from an object class, from what we're detecting, what we're doing, what we're focused on, people, vehicles, weapons, PPE. We've recently added smoke and fire protection or smoke and fire detection via video, and we also have some logo detection. This is used by a couple facilities that are focused on like HOAs and doing not just remote guarding but remote concierge work, so we can set up some automated rules and responses based on, like, if it's a known delivery truck, we can suppress an alert for that, or allow them to do other automations on their end. And then line crossing, person present, things like that are most prevalent. So we have slip and fall detection, loitering detection, and a scheduler, so you can arm and disarm the system a couple different ways, covering all the most common use cases and requirements for central stations remote guarding. So this here, because it didn't build out right, this was going to be a slide with a couple of builds, but architecturally, we can connect a couple of different ways. We can either take SMTP event clips or a full-time stream into our cloud. We analyze that based on what you say you want to detect, how you have things set up, and forward the events, forward some small subset of those into your monitoring center. We're also integrated with IMIX AI Link. So instead of having your cameras send stuff directly to us, you can leave it the way it's configured right now, where, like, say you're getting events in IMIX, then use AI Link to loop those events through Actuate's cloud filter, and then what comes out of us and back into IMIX, and then ultimately in front of your operator is only those verified, validated events that have person or vehicle detections in them. So that's the most prevalent way to connect to us by far. It's certainly the easiest, but we know IMIX has a big share of the monitoring station market, but we're integrated with a lot of other software products and platforms, which I think I have on the next slide here. Yeah, so this is our connectivity options as it exists today. We've got direct integrations on the input side, a simple RTSP stream, SMTP alerts integrated with some camera brands, Access and Hanwha, some big brands, VMSs, Milestones, VMS, Avigilon, or NVRs like the Dawa NVRs and things like that, Eagle Eye. So we can pull inputs, pull video streams or events, depending on which method you're using, directly from a wide variety of sources. And on the output side, you can use our web interface as your monitoring interface. It's not really a full-scale production, full-featured product like what you're going to get from IMIX Bold or something like that you see here. But we can integrate with pretty much any central station software, for any VMS software, anything that can receive event-driven notifications. If we don't have an integration, we can build one depending on your needs. But there's as anyone in this industry knows, there's a small subset of products that take up the bulk of the market. And we have deep integrations with those, making setup and utilization and administration pretty straightforward. So what you really get out of this versus there's always these arguments, and I've been doing AI video analytics in this industry for close to 20 years now, and I hear the arguments about should it be in the camera, at the edge, or in the cloud. There's pros and cons to each of them, but our most common scenario is what tends to happen is and if you've been in this business, you've probably seen the same thing, that you have a business that starts with nothing. They're having some crime, they're having some vandalism, they're having some theft, something goes on. They install cameras. They realize that the cameras recording crime doesn't really stop it. They need some kind of remote monitoring. They, those cameras might have simplistic motion detection. They find a monitoring partner. They start adding video verification or remote monitoring, but they realize very quickly, again, you get all those false alarms, and that's when they reach out to companies like us when they've already got a problem that spans thousands of cameras. And this is where cloud connectivity is very nice. By default, if you're doing remote monitoring or remote guarding, you're transmitting events across the internet already, so you've got that connectivity between the remote site and the central station. We've already established that they have connectivity because they have all these events and false alarms coming in, and they want to suppress that. So with our cloud-based approach, whether you do a direct connection like we showed, or you use AI link or something like that, within a few minutes you can have this set up and configured. There's no truck rolls, there's no additional hardware, there's no big upfront cost for that. In fact, we basically do usage-based billing, so you can get started with Actuate for literally $0, very little setup time, and immediately start reducing that workload and increasing your operator efficiency. Something else here, that the third one, the no rules or zones, we do support that, but what I highlight here, and Ellie will show this a little bit more in the demo side of the presentation, but by default, when you add a camera into our system, we're looking at the entire field of view for person and vehicle objects by default. So because that's our most common scenario, and because what tends to happen is people have done their best to set up their on-premise cameras to create some masking zones or create some regions, and that's not working out for them. They're still getting too many events, even when they've tried to tweak that. They send it through us. So, but then basically by default, we're only getting motion events or those false alarm events from a subset of the region, from the part of the field of view that the customer said they're interested in. So you don't need to reestablish that region in our UI. You don't need to reconfigure anything. You start sending events into Actuate, we immediately start filtering them for person and vehicle and intruder type detections, and forward the valid ones on. You can you can eliminate that on-site side, and you can configure regions and rules in our software if you want to, or you can refine it further. But again, as we've been building this and as we've been responding to market feedback and market requirements, we realize that there's really no need to add a lot of setup and configuration. Most of these times on our side, we can take the events that are coming in, they're already pre-cropped in a way, and just filter them out for actual valid events, and makes onboarding very efficient, very effective. So the other part for this, we're talking about event-driven things. We're talking about receiving events from cameras and remote monitoring, and all that's great, except you've heard the saying, if a tree falls in the forest and there's nobody around, does it make any sound? Well, this concept is what led to our camera health monitoring development. So you can add camera monitoring alongside AI, or you can add this just alone on cameras, and we're looking for all these elements, connectivity, stream quality, image quality, scene change. So think of health monitoring as the analytics that make sure your other analytics are going to work properly. So if you don't receive any events from a camera because it's been disconnected, or because someone spray painted it, or hit it with a bat and moved its field of view, so it's just looking at the sky, or it's looking at the wall and it's not seeing any motion, you wouldn't be getting any events from that camera. But you can't always be sure that no events means nothing is wrong. No events could mean something is wrong, that the camera itself is not functional enough to be able to actually do its real job of monitoring the scene. So our camera health monitoring is a nice low cost add-on to give you that extra assurance when that everything is up and operational on the site, that the camera's working, the recording's working, the image quality is good, so that the analytics can work and you can get those events. We've also had some of our accounts add camera health monitoring to, say, like indoor cameras, or ones that aren't being used for the remote guarding purposes, but they're selling their customer on just overall system uptime and overall quality assurance. And it's a nice add-on, even if you're already doing video monitoring, even if you already have Actuate on your exterior channels or on your main channels. We've seen a big uptake in this, and people wanting to just extend the amount of service and assurance they can give their customers. And again, this is a great way to add that in. So our analytics, it works as like a monthly subscription. It's sold in tiers. These range from simple intruder and vehicle detection via event clips, all the way up to full-time continuous RTSP streams. And our top tier, our premium product, is where we've got everything we offer: intruder detection, vehicle detection, loitering, gun detection, fire and smoke, slip and fall, hard hat detection, all of that, or anywhere in between. So you can tailor it to whatever you need, whether you're trying to hit a specific price point or a specific performance point. We have these 5 different tiers, 5 different options here that let you pick the best product, and everyone's always very cost aware in this business, so nobody's interested in overpaying for things that they don't need or that they're not using. So we let you scale it down to the very simplest thing, an AI link or Sentinel type connection, all the way up to full-time streaming, looking for all kinds of stuff. Then there's a couple add-on subscriptions. Dynamic slicing is our term for HD processing, and what this really is doing behind the scenes is, by default, we only need a 640 by 480 or even smaller image stream to analyze it, especially for intrusion detection. With our technology, it's really good at picking up a moving person, even in very low light, low quality video. So we don't need a lot of resolution most of the time. But if you send higher resolution, we can increase the range, we can increase the coverage area. And what we actually do is apply this dynamic slicing behind the scenes to effectively cut up the image and analyze it in segments, and increase the sensitivity. And so this allows you to take potentially a higher resolution camera, and dynamic slicing is cheaper than a AI subscription. So this gives customers a way to actually manage their overall subscription cost by deploying some higher resolution cameras. Pay for one camera analytic stream plus dynamic slicing is going to be cheaper than paying for 2 camera streams. So again, we give you a lot of ways to really help manage costs and deliver tailored applications. We can work with fisheye cameras. This isn't super common, but we do offer it. The dewarping and slicing on those, if you've got overhead, the 180 or 360 cameras, and then the camera health monitoring, like I mentioned. We also have integrations like with some products like Check Video. We have APIs. These aren't very common at all in the remote guarding market, but if you want to really build your own offering on top of ours or do a super deep integration, we offer our high sensitivity Motion Plus API, intrusion detection API, and gun detection on based on a per event basis. And so you send your images or your video clip into us, and we analyze them and tell you if we found these things. And this is these like the APIs, it's fractions of a cent per event. So if you want to build really high scale stuff or deeper integrations, we offer that option, and it's literally less than pennies per event. So discounts, I haven't gotten into pricing, but basically pricing works based off discounts off our list prices, from, as you can see, based on the number of cameras here. And we've got customers with thousands and thousands of cameras. I'll just say from pricing guidance, we like to make sure that we're giving you the right thing and that we're not overcharging you, and that you understand what you need and how many cameras you need it on. But you're looking at, on average, somewhere around $4 per camera per month is what a lot of our bigger customers are paying. So it's a very cost effective, and we don't force you to put it on all the cameras. You can select which ones at the site you want to apply our AI filtering to. So if you've got 10 cameras at the site, but only 2 of them are really bad and need the AI filtering in the cloud, you only have to subscribe to those 2 cameras. We're not doing it based on like how many channels are in your VMS or other things like that. So this is where I'll turn it over to Ellie for a demo, and then we'll have some time for Q&A at the end. Thanks.
Thank you, Brian.
And you should be able to take over as presenter now.
Thanks.
Yep, looks good.
Thank you. So thanks, Brian. This was definitely a lot of valuable information. So as you can see on my screen, this is our dashboard. This is the same level of access as users have. So whenever you become a user on our platform, this is what you're going to see when you log in. Everything you're seeing here is, we have a few cameras in our office and a few home offices that we're duplicating between different sites, but basically all of these are real cameras or duplications of real cameras. And it's also the same level of permissions as an end user or a user on our system. There are a few different tools. Before I dive into the actual configuration part, there are a few different tools that we provide user on our system. There is a support webpage, which is an internal wiki page that has a lot of valuable information. Basically, you can find a lot of how-tos and product descriptions for the user. We also give the user access to see whenever we release a new feature or a bug fix. You can subscribe and get those notifications being pushed to you. And we also give users the ability to see, subscribed users, the ability to see the status of our services. And we can, whenever there is a maintenance or a service interruption, we're going to push those notifications and also show them on this dashboard. There are a few different applications under the same platform here. The first one is the sites. This is how you manage sites. And from here, you can manage your sites, your groups, your cameras. A group is basically a logical breakdown of a few different sites. We can give the ability for a user to see the top group, like my user has, or to a specific group. So for example, if you have a group of users only watching the NYC region, you can give them access only to that specific group. As for a specific location, I'm going to show you our Wave server, but basically all our sites are looking the same. It's all the same structure. You can see under which group that site resides. And you have a few manual controls that you can use to arm and disarm your site off schedule, for example, which brings me to the schedules. All our sites are running on schedules, and you have a few different options. You have the option to do it always on, which is 24 hours, so midnight to midnight, a specific arm and disarm time. And we also have the ability to arm and disarm a site based on the dusk and dawn time for that location. We have a few, going one step back, I want to just show you a few different connectivity options. So we are able to connect to your server or to your camera or NVR or DMS, either directly over the internet. We can also do port forwarding, and we also have the option to do site-to-site VPN. And then I just want to mention a really cool feature that we have with a few of the VMSs, the different HAMA flavors, ACC, Milestone, Genitech, and maybe a couple more. We have the option to do something called Actuate. Basically, it means when you're onboarding a site and you click on Add Camera, this is going to pull the list of cameras from your server. So when, if it's a link, it's a camera that is already onboarded. And then when you want to add a new camera to your system, you just check the box next to that specific camera, and that will onboard your camera. Next, I want to show you the feature that Brian mentioned earlier, the ignore zones. And these are masking areas. And it's a really nice feature that allows you to be very granular with your detections. Basically, it's masking areas. So you can mask out everything, which would be the ignore all, or you can mask out specific products that you have enabled or specific detections. This is really nice because it allows you, for example, to mask out only vehicles on the road or only people on the sidewalk, but you're still going to get the rest of it. So, for example, if there is a person walking inside the ignored vehicles, basically you're still going to alert for it, but we're going to ignore the vehicles. And editing it is really easy. Basically, you click on Edit Your Ignore Zone, and you can add a new one. For example, if you want to add bike, and then you just click through it, and it's really nice, easy, and flexible to create a new ignore zone. And you can also have a larger mode in case the view is not very clear. So these are the ignore zones. Last thing I want to show you is an example of a detection. So I was running I was testing gun detection in the office earlier, and I want to show you this is how it looks like. So this is our dashboard. This is the next dashboard called Live Alerts. From here, you can use the filters to filter out specific sites or specific cameras even for specific dates. And when you play, when we get a detection, and it doesn't matter if it's a gun detection or people detection or vehicle, it all looks the same. Basically, we would, sorry, it will have a bounding box around the specific detection, and it's just following through it. As you can see, this is for a rifle, and same for a pistol. You can see we have, even this object is quite small, we can still detect it and follow it through. It's going to be the same, and this is the alerts that we're also pushing to the different options that Brian mentioned, like Emix or Sentinel, or an email, or even a webhook, or any of the other options. And we also have our own dashboard where we can manage in a more basic way the different events, as you can see here. So I can say if this is a true alert or a true non-threat, and also add a note once I acknowledge it. As for the health dashboard, this is how it will look like. We can, I'm just going to choose a few dates here and filter it out. So this is the camera health product that Brian mentioned. As you can see, it gives you higher level on the top, so you can see how many alerts, how many warnings, and how many errors. And then you also we're fetching the data for bandwidth per site. And then it's going to show you the different categories that we had per site. So these are the site names on the bottom, the RTSP, the WiseNet Wave, and so on. These are different sites. You can hover over it and see the different categories. And then on the bottom, this is where you would manage your different events. For example, when you click on one, it will show you what's likely the cause and some steps, including a link to the support website that can explain you how to troubleshoot. This is basically it. Brian, should I hand it over back to you?
Yeah. I think if we have any questions, it would be a good time to hit those, and may give us an opportunity to dive deeper if we need to on anything.
I don't see any questions yet.
Ken, have we had any questions?
Did you cover pricing?
Okay.
Did you cover pricing?
Yeah. Well, thanks. Not in depth. I wasn't going to show the full price list, but basically, you're going to pay around $7 per camera per month for the most common product and volume. That AI link connection for intruder false alarm filtering. It goes up. If you want the full scale PPE weapons detection, everything. It's going to be about $20 per camera per month at the highest end, and then again, it kind of varies in between there based on what you're doing.
I take it then that this does not have the live monitoring that I suggested at the beginning. You're not live monitoring with interaction with an intruder, for example. Hey, you with the hat on, you don't belong here.
That's the right. So we're helping the people that provide that service. Yeah, we're acting, like I said, as a an event detector or an event spam filter, depending on how you've architected your thing. But our customers are the organizations providing those live guarding services, and that have been getting overwhelmed by other analytics products that flood them with inactionable events.
So your camera with AI then filters out, I guess people that are approved or authorized.
Yeah. We're the analogy I use, because I think people relate to it. Just like you're familiar with email spam filters, think of us as a spam filter for video events, things that would have come in, would have wasted your operator's time, would have distracted them. If you send them through our cloud spam filter, we'll take out all the stuff, all the noise, the alerts from shadows, the alerts from animals, the alerts from vehicle headlights and things like that. And we'll pass through only the things that have valid people or vehicles in them. So that way your operators are spending all their time on the stuff that matters, on the stuff that, you know, their end user customers are paying them for, because nobody's paying you to count how many deer came through the image, or,
Are
you know,
your
how many raindrops got in the lens.
are your customers then the central stations that are doing it?
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, our
So,
customers are central stations, and that's why, if you missed it on the pricing slide, I put up, you know, our discounts start at 250 cameras and they go up to, you know, tiers of 10,000 cameras. Because yeah, our customers are bringing hundreds or thousands of cameras to us, and we're cutting out hundreds of hours of useless work for their operators.
where is the filtering done at the central
All in
station?
the cloud. Yeah, all on our cloud servers. So
So it has
there's
nothing to do with with which cameras you're using or how the camera
exactly.
is configured. It's all at the central station level or cloud level.
Exactly. It's all the cloud level. So we work with pretty much every camera on the market. You don't have to install any hardware on site. You don't install any hardware or software at the central station. Again, this is why I like the spam filter analogy, because you just route stuff through us and we strip out all the garbage and send you all the good stuff. And
Do, do you know what what the experience is in terms of cutting down camera uh, 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 signals that will come in, the video data that will come into the central station? So we're not talking about 24/7 live watching. We're talking about an activation of a camera, sending a signal in, activating it at that point, right? That's for
yep,
starters, right? Okay. So an image comes into the camera view, sends a signal. Your system will filter out non-emergency type events.
mhm.
And do you know what the experience is in terms of how many different clips, what percentage your product will filter out at the central station level?
Yeah. I mean, we filter out up to 95% of events. So if you've got cameras that like are only doing motion detection and have no intelligence, we can easily strip out 95% of that. I've had customers bring me, you know, what many people in the industry would consider like the best AI cameras, and even on those, we'll hit 30 or 40% event reduction from cameras that have, you know, onboard analytics that they paid hundreds of dollars in upcharge for.
So,
I
so what?
one of the customers we're working with, yeah.
So one of the alternatives to your system, then I guess, is the camera itself has the AI feature in it. But those cameras are much more
Yeah,
expensive, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
You can do onboard camera AI for sure, but what everyone is finding is that actually our analytics are smarter than what's on the camera. I have a dealer who's been using one of the industry's top-rated edge AI cameras, and it's not good enough. They're still running it through our software, and so he came to the conclusion he can actually use a base level camera from the same manufacturer, save like $500 per camera just on the deployment cost, run it through our system, and get a better performance for less, less upfront cost, less monthly cost. So
So
we're when obviously I'm not gonna I don't work I don't
this is really a big deal
what
from
was
the
that?
station side because monitoring video
I
is a
think
lot
so.
more intensive than monitoring digital signals or radio signals that are coming in on events.
Yes.
Especially
Mhm.
your program. This monitoring would then turn into what I call interactive monitoring, where they're able to talk to these people, right? Uh,
Correct.
these intruders. So
Yep. Correct.
I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head how many cameras or accounts a one operator can manage in a typical day. But I assume that this would greatly decrease those number of signals coming in, so that so that one operator could now manage many more accounts. I don't know if you have those stats for the central stations or not.
It varies. I have a slide that I didn't show because it's slightly out of date, but you know, based on some counts and some calculations I did in December, across our customer portfolio, we were saving them like 1,700 hours or $50,000 a day. And as you can imagine, you know, our revenue is not $50,000 a day. So you know, or the other model is, it's kind of like, you know, for every dollar you pay us, we're saving you a huge multiple of that in reduced operator time. And it varies because every central station has like a slightly different model on how they engage with things, you know, what they do, but it comes down to, you know, again, you pay us $4 per camera per month. We don't have to save your operator a whole lot of time when, you know, the average operator grossed up is upper $20 an hour. We don't have to save much time for that to pay for itself or to make you money.
Now, who's engaging you, the central station or the dealers?
Right now, it's been primarily central stations. We have some integrators that work with us, and we're kind of doing more and more business with them. But the bulk of our customer portfolio, the people sending us checks, are central stations around the globe.
I assume they're passing it through to their dealers, obviously.
They again, I've heard both models. So some of them pass it through to their dealers and they add it on. Other ones use it as just a way to increase their own efficiency. So rather than pass it through, they take all those operator savings and they bring on more accounts while keeping the rest of their overhead flat. So it depends. There's a lot of different go-to-market models. But for us, it's we politely don't care. You can pass it through or you can absorb it. Either way, you're gonna fundamentally profit from it.
Okay. Are you guys going to be at the ISC show? You have a presence
Yeah,
there?
yeah. We'll be in the AI Discovery Zone. We have a couple sessions. We have a meeting room on Thursday. I've actually got a morning breakfast panel. If anyone wants to sign up, you get my contact info from the webinar. But we're doing this like valuation workshop that's focused on integrators and central stations and the people doing RMR business. And we've got some people speaking there just talking about, you know, valuation, acquisition trends and what investors are looking for. And then if you're new to this market, I've got an afternoon session. It's an hour, so this is massively compressed, but it's how to start a remote guarding operation. And again, we could spend all
Well, you know
day
what?
on that topic, but we've got an hour highlight session with a couple of software companies.
You know what? After the ISC show, a couple of months after, why don't we do some webinars on this topic? Because this is a really hot topic, and it'll be less.
I agree.
I think we'll get a greater audience, even though your audience is primarily, from what you're telling me, the central stations, which of course reduces your audience quite a bit from the dealer level. And also, I hope you make some use of my forum, my email forum, which I can assure you is read by every central station out there. I'd like to have you on that.
I read it every day, and you've published a couple of my responses in there. There was one a few months ago. I forget what it was, but yeah, that's been great. I think I've been a subscriber to like 15 years or something on that.
All right. Well, I hope
it's awesome.
you're on the alarm. I don't know if you're on the alarm exchange, but you should be, and make sure you get on that. And I'd really like you to come up and say hello to me. I'll be hunkered down at the Palazzo Hotel Prestige Lounge, and if you just call my office, Kathleen,
Okay.
she'll be happy to get you up there, and at least we can say hello, and maybe if I have time, I can take a walk around the convention floor with you, introduce you to a couple of central stations that I have relationships
Sounds
with.
good. Appreciate it, Ken.
There's about 30 of them, I guess, or maybe 40.
That'd be awesome.
I don't know how many, but there's a lot. And
Cool.
see what I can do for you. Okay. So anybody
All
else?
right, man. Much appreciated.
Anyone else needs to reach them? I guess they'll go to the webinar page or something, and your or my emails has his
Yeah,
contact.
yeah, my contact info has been in your emails. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And Eli has hidden his last name, but I guess Brian will switch over to him if he's the guy that's got to deal with it.
Yeah.
And wait a minute, I see I do have a. Okay. Oh, can you show the price page again? Price page is a bargain. $4 a camera,
Yeah.
even if it's $7 a camera. Sounds like it saves you an awful lot of time.
It does. It does. And yeah, and we often, work with our partners to find the best, the best set of features, and there's some mix and match stuff. So I would say, reach out to me and I'd be happy to dig into exactly what you need and make sure that we come up with a price package that's going to work for you.
I think Brian's had a little problem with his slideshow, so I don't know if he could show that page again. But give him a call and he'll be happy to share the information with you. Does that sound about right?
That sounds good.
We got to fix your presentation next time because you're freezing up.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, guys, I want to thank everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next time. And make sure you visit Brian over at the ISC show. Maybe he'll have Ellie along with him. And if you need me to contact him for you, let me know. Be happy to help. Happy to do some introductions. Okay, everybody. Thanks
Thanks again. Take care.
Thanks.